Hey, good afternoon. Russell Hotels going live just for a couple of minutes. You guys know how I do it. Today is the daily check-in. It's live. It's on LinkedIn. It's on YouTube. It's on X. Okay, so hope you guys are tuning in to me somewhere from at one of those platforms, right? Hey, real quick, I just need to make sure that I see I'm live on YouTube. Something's acting kind of funny on LinkedIn. Let me just make sure that LinkedIn is where it's supposed to be. You know, LinkedIn acts funny sometimes. I don't know why that is, but let me just make sure I am a lot. Oh, there it goes. Okay. See, it takes time, that spinning thing going on. I think that's called buffering. I don't know what it's called, but anyway, sometimes it does that. But hey, we're good now. I'm looking now. Yeah, we're straight. We're straight. So in fact, let me move this over here. See, I have to see these things, right? So it's on my phone, so I have to make sure that I am live on the platforms that I said I'm going to be. So anyway, hey, I'm Russell Hotels. Like I said, this is a daily check-in, okay? So normally I do, well, today's Wednesday, right? Today, hump day. Just throw that in. I normally do On Air with Russell of Hotels on Tuesdays at 1 o'clock, right? That's the live hospitality talk show that everyone's talking about, right? That's the one that goes for an hour. I have guests on, all that kind of stuff. I had a guest on last week or 2 weeks in a row. I didn't do it last week because I was traveling. I didn't do it yesterday because I was traveling as well. But we'll get back to it. Okay, I think the show that's coming up, I think it's show number 250. Man, who would have thought 250 shows, right? So this is just not just a daily check-in, but it is a daily check-in. I do these Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I try to be around noon, but as you can see now, it's like almost 1:30. But when you got stuff to do, you got stuff to do, right? You got to do what you have to do. But I always, tell myself that I'm still going to do it regardless. If I can't make it to the time that I say I'm going to do it, I'm still going to do it because even if you don't catch me on the live, you can catch me on the replay. Because guess what? I don't get rid of this content creating. Anything that I create content-wise stays there forever. Okay, so if you follow me, if you subscribe to me, which I hope you do, if you subscribe to my channel on YouTube, it'll be there forever. If you follow me or connect with me on LinkedIn, it'll be there forever. If you happen to be on X, which is the old Twitter, it'll be there forever as well. Only thing it won't be there forever is TikTok, because I think TikTok is about to go away. Isn't that something? Man, that's anyway, that's not what this is all about, but is it a shame? I think it would, because I use TikTok as well, right? So I'm actually just started TikTok maybe, I don't know, within the last several months, and it's growing. It's not growing as fast, but that's okay, right? As long as you're able to reach somebody, even if that was one or two people, you're reaching somebody, right, that you weren't reaching before. And I know a lot of content creators are on that platform, and that would be detrimental to their business. So this is one thing. This is real quick. This, this has nothing to do with TikTok, because I've been canceled before on other platforms. Instagram, okay, because of, I can't remember the reason why, and it really doesn't matter. It was nothing that I thought I did, bad or illegal, but they said it was like, I was using music that I shouldn't have used. I was at an event and there was some background music playing. It was all innocent, right? I couldn't even hear the music, but I was in another country and there was music playing in the background. And a year later, Instagram comes to me and says, hey, we're taking this video down because of the music you use. And we're not just taking the video down, but we're going to, guess what? We're gonna cancel you for 2 weeks, right? Or 14 days. It's like 14 days. I'm like, oh, wow. So that told me one thing. It told me one thing. It told me a couple of things, but it told me one thing, that we don't control these platforms. They're letting us use these platforms. So that from that day on, when they, stop the ban, stop me from being banned, I say, you know what, this will never happen again, because I'm going to put content on multiple platforms. So if I happen to be canceled on one, guess what? I got 4 or 5 more that I can still put my content on. Okay, so that's why I always tell people, do not put content just on one platform. You got to grow your follower base, your whatever. You have to grow it on multiple platforms. because something like this can happen. It's out of our control because we do not own the platforms, okay? Not to get on some rant about TikTok or the government and all that stuff, because that's not what I'm here to do. But I'm just saying what I'm here to say is if you do these things on certain platforms, if you do these live hospitality talk shows or whatever, and you're utilizing these platforms, just keep in mind that you can be canceled at any time. Okay. I've individually been canceled. Now TikTok is about to cancel a whole bunch of people because they don't, I guess if TikTok is not sold to an American company in the next 9 months, then I guess TikTok will no longer exist in the US. That's what I'm hearing. I think that's what I think most people have heard that as well. So anyway, enough of that ranting on that. But just like I said, just heed that advice. If you do create content on these platforms, just make sure that you do not sleep with just one of them. You got this is one time you can sleep with multiple things, multiple platforms, or multiple people. Okay, this is the first time I'm going to condone that. All right. Sleep with different platforms, okay? That's the only time I'm gonna say this, okay? So anyway, Sam Thompson, how are you, sir? Thank you for the comment. Appreciate you. Hey, the comment is open, so hey, thank you, Sam. It was right on cue, right? Samuel Thompson out there in the desert works with Greater Palm Springs CVB. Okay, so actually he works with Greater Palm Springs CVB, or Convention and Visitors Bureau, which is a DMO, Destination Marketing Organization, but specifically with Indian Wells, okay, the properties in Indian Wells, like Miramonte, I think is in Indian Wells, right? Is Miramonte, which is the new Tommy Bahama Miramonte, I think that's what it's called, right? So we're gonna get Sam on here one day. He's gonna come in here and tell us exactly what he does, which hotels are in Indian Wells, out there in the desert in the Palm Springs community area. So Greater Palm Springs, Indian Wells. See, I'm correct. I know. So we're giving Sam a little, promotional thing. And that's what this is all about, right? So it's not just about me just here spewing out information. It's about, and want to, pat myself on the back because I have a brand. No, it's not about that, right? It's about other people want to come on and talk about their brand. I'll put your brand up there. We'll talk about it. You can brag about it. That's what it's all about, right? So it's all about bragging about your brand, promoting your brand. And Samuel Thompson is one of those people that's always been on my side, always been on, supportive of me. And I'm definitely going to be supportive of him when he's making a move to do, when he's out there moving and shaking, okay? And he's definitely moving and shaking. And your ears must have been buzzing yesterday because I had a conversation with a young lady by the name of, don't want to say Stevie. She's at the Tommy Bahama Miramonte, right? I had an appointment with her yesterday. Let me just make sure I got that right. Stevie. And I didn't mean to start singing, but yep. Okay, what's Stevie's last name though? Because I want to make sure I got this right. I want to make sure I got this right. What? Okay. Stevie Yates. Okay, so shout out to Stevie Yates out there representing the Tommy Bahama Miramonte Resort and Spa in Indian Wells. Okay, which Sam happens to. You haven't met. She knows you though. She knows you, Sam. Okay, so because I brought, of course I'm gonna bring you up, right? I brought you up. So anyway, so make sure you tell her I said hello, and tell her I gave her a special shout out today not on air with Russell of Hotels, but the daily check-in with Russell of Hotels. Okay, so there you go. Yep, that's her. And I'm putting all your comments here, Sam, so everyone can see them. So whoever else is out there, I know there's other people out there. If you want to make comments, please feel free to make your comments. Say, hey, what's going on? Ask me a question. I don't care what hotel is this. Where was I? I don't care what you ask. Just ask the question, and I'll, providing it's clean, I'll put it up here. Okay. Now I'm not putting any dirty stuff up here. Okay. Not today, at least. All right. So, but we emailed, etc. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. She goes, oh yeah, I know Sam. Blah 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 blah. I'm like, okay. Well, everybody knows Samuel Thompson. Okay. Everybody knows him. I said, that's my dude right there. Okay. So there you go. I said, take care of him. Make sure Make sure you make it happen, okay? But start with Sam, all right? So there you go. So I'm putting all the comments there. I sure will. Thank you so much, Samuel. I appreciate that. So moving forward, so okay, so I was at the Margaritaville, Small World. Yes, definitely. That's one thing about this industry, Sam, is that small world, you'd be amazed who knows who or who remembers you from something else. I'm like, you remember that? Like years and years ago. Oh, you used to work with, so and so who is now my boss. I'm like, yeah, well, back in the day, I was his boss. You know what I mean? So, yeah, so it's amazing how small this world of hospitality, especially when you start talking hotels, CVBs, people that worked in hotels now with CVBs or they're now third parties or whatever the heck they are, and check this out. I ran into someone at the airport. Now I normally don't run into people that I know at the airport, but I ran into God, she used to work at God, I can't even why can I think of her name now? Oh wow, this is crazy. I was at she was at the Downtown Athletic Club in LA for years, 27 years. Why can't I think? And I saw her and I called her by name and she like didn't know who I was at first. Oh my gosh, man, I'm losing my mind. I'm gonna think about it in a minute. I'm gonna think about it in a minute. But anyway, let me move forward here because if I sit up here and try to think about this stuff for a minute, I'm gonna be like, why am I even here? Okay, what are you talking about, Russell? Anyway, Margaritaville. So okay, I was at the Margaritaville Resort over the last couple of days. Came back last night. I was there for what do you call it? Small meetings, small and boutique meetings. I can never get that right, but it's one of North Star's programs or North Star meetings and events. It's called small and boutique meetings. So basically, the word says it all, right? So boutique hotels and smaller venues or smaller hotels that have small meeting space, they're able to showcase their properties, right? Because if there's a lot larger properties, convention type hotels, whatever, no one's gonna listen to the small guy. You know what I mean? So this is good that they have their own space, their own voice, and we don't have to be distracted by the bigger box hotels and things like that. So these are, unique properties, small. Some of them are non-branded, not the major brands and things like that. But some of them are, some of the major brands as well. But they're just smaller properties. Maybe have limited meeting space or event space or whatever. So it gives them an opportunity to come out and showcase to meeting planners like myself or hotel site selection people or whatever. So North Star puts on the event. Once again, it's called Small and Boutique Meetings. It's I don't want to say is it once a year, or twice a year? It could be twice a year because it seemed like last year I went and it was at the end of the year. But anyway, it was at the Margaritaville in Texas, in Lake Conroe, Texas, which is an hour outside of Houston. Okay, so you fly into Houston Airport. I think that's the international one, and then drive about an hour. Well, someone drove. I didn't drive. I mean, we were on the shuttle or a bus or whatever. But beautiful property sits right on the lake, as you can see in the background. This is Texas. This is Texas, not no Texas hold. Anyway, this is okay. So this is Texas, right outside of Houston. This right here. Now, this is on the grounds of the hotel, but as you can see to my right over my shoulder here, those are cabins, right? So they have like 32 of these cabins, and this is off the hotel, right? The hotel is a tower, right? So, but this is, you can rent these as well. These are more expensive because they're individual cabins. They can sleep up to like 6 people, and they are lakefront. As you can see, this is lakefront, right? They'll put fire pits out here. I mean, just great for like, say you had a family reunion and stuff like, oh man, or just a weekend getaway with the, a girls trip or, the homies, the homie getaway, the homies trip. That means friends that are guys. Okay, that's the homies. Okay, just in case you didn't know, I'm bringing out that card right now. But anyway, no, it was just a great place. Families, things like that, corporate people, because there's a golf course next door. They have pickleball. They have, a lot of water sports and things that you can do in the pool or the lake. That you can do boat rentals. You can do all that stuff. It's kind of cool. Actually, kind of cool. So let me put Sam's comments up here. Which one? Yeah, there's one in Texas. Yeah, definitely one in Texas. It's called Lake Conroe, Texas, right outside of Houston. Heard good thing. Yeah, it's actually fantastic, outstanding. It was great. The service was great. They have 5 restaurants and bars, of course. Of course, we all know Jimmy Buffett. It was influenced by Jimmy Buffett. Wasting away again in Margaritaville. Okay, remember that song? Okay, well, that's the whole premise for these Margaritaville resorts, right? So 5 different restaurants, 5 different bars. I mean, you can get your drink on, your eat on at the same time. Okay, I mean, there's a lot of excitement going on, a lot of fun, a lot of good, clean adult fun. But I can see where kids can go in here too, because like you said, you got 4 pools. One pool is one of those like a lazy river, goes around, kind of a lazy river, that kind of thing. So I thought it was dope as heck. I'm like, wow, this is something else. I didn't know what to expect, but I did not expect this. It just kind of far exceeded my expectations. So yeah, so we were there for that, and just got a chance to see everything there. We're only there for 2.5 days or so. So really good time. We had 24 appointments. At least I had 24 appointments, and that way you're able to spend like 13 minutes with each person, right? It's like speed dating if you hadn't done this before. It's done in a ballroom. And would you recommend for groups or leisure or both? I would recommend it for both. Check this out. Okay, you know how most hotels have all the meeting space in the hotel? Well, they have a little small convention center, which is about 72,000 square feet of meeting space. It's in a separate building. It's across, and maybe it takes from door to door. I would say, I don't know if it takes a minute to walk from door to door, but yeah, it's great. So it has its own separate space. So you're not gonna, kids are not gonna be in there unless you invite the kids over there, right? So the kids and the family could be at the pool, in the hotel, in the restaurants, and you would not even know because it's across the parking lot from there. So it's totally separate. So I thought that was kind of cool. It seemed like they built the hotel first and then put the meeting space in later. Because this hotel was not built originally as a Margaritaville. It was another resort, and Margaritaville, whoever owned this particular Margaritaville, bought it, redid it back in 2020. I think they bought it during the pandemic. It reopened back in 2020, from what I understand, and it's been doing well ever since. I mean, I can see why it does well. So if you're in that area or you're considering, a place for your group, yeah, definitely, Sam. To answer your question, I know that was a long about sort of way. Would I recommend it for groups or leisure or both? I would say both. Yeah, definitely both. But probably a little bit more for leisure. You know what I mean? So, how people do that. What's it called? Bleisure. Yeah, this could be one of those bleisure opportunities. Okay, so you come in during the week, we're gonna do work, but then on the weekends we're gonna do more leisure. This is the place. This is the place for bleisure. When they talk about bleisure, they're talking about this place. Okay, so yeah, so Sam's good. Yeah, there you go, Sam. So there you go. So yeah, and I'm just gonna show you the specifics of this hotel or the vitals. I always want, if I'm talking about a hotel, I want to give you the vitals of that hotel. What do you mean vitals, Russell? What the hell does that mean? Well, how's it made up? How many rooms? 335 guest rooms. Okay. 19 meeting rooms. All right. And remember, the meeting rooms are separate. They're not in the same space as the guest rooms. 72,000 square feet of meeting space. Okay. So there you go. And it's all on the lakefront as well. And then built in 85. So the original footprint was built in 1985. And it was last renovated in 2020. That's when it became a Margaritaville. Okay, so there you go. That's what I'm talking about. What else? So this is my guest room. Yeah, this is actually, and excuse me because the kind of sun kind of it's too bright on certain parts of it. But that's okay. So I thought I got an upgrade, right? So I check in like, oh wow, this is nice, right? Okay, this is cool. Because I hadn't done my research on the hotel. I knew what Margaritaville was, but I didn't know how this hotel was made up because all Margaritavilles are privately owned or separately owned, and the footprint may be different, meaning the buildings and everything may be different. So it's not like one cookie cutter Margaritaville, all of them are different, okay, because none of them were built as a Margaritaville. They were built as something else. An investor or whatever came in and bought them and made it however they wanted to make it, okay, or improved it however they wanted to improve it. So I thought I was getting an upgrade to a suite, right? Well, no, find out when we did the tour that all the rooms are suites. Okay, so I'm like, that's kind of dope, right? Resort with all suites. I was all over that. So it was pretty cool. So yeah, I did feel a little slighted at that point. You know, like, oh damn, I thought I was special. You know what I mean? But then find out that everyone's special, and I guess that's a good thing, right? It's a good thing that everybody feels special. So yeah, so no, this is a separate living room. There's a bar area, refrigerator out here. There's a TV there, of course, as you can see. Couch that opens up into a bed as well, and then all the rooms have patios. So this one, I was on the 4th floor, so there's 2 chairs out there on the patio. So, and then Sam says, what did Sam say? LOL, never heard that before. That's why I need to tune in more often. What have you not heard of before? Tell me, because I talk so fast, Sam, I don't realize what the heck I said. So if you can please let me know or share what you heard me say. And so I'm not sure what I said. And the person's name is Terry Ornato. Terry Ornato was the director of sales and marketing at the LA Athletic Club, downtown LA. I happened to run into her at the airport. She was coming back. Her and her daughter were coming back from Florida, I believe. And we're on the same flight coming from Houston to LA. She had a connecting flight from Orlando in Houston, and then she went from Houston to LA. So yeah, Terry Ornato. She used to be the DOSM at the LA Athletic Club. I hadn't seen her in years, but we communicated on LinkedIn, which a lot of people do, right? And she had retired, right? So she was at that hotel. Listen to this. This is unheard of, especially a salesperson. She was there for 27 years, okay? She was at that property for 27 years. Who can say that? No one can. So I was like, wow, Terry, that's great. Did you there 27 years? She goes, yeah, but she retired, blah, blah, blah. And guess what she told me? She said, I'm thinking about going back to work. I'm like, okay, all right. But anyway, no, it was good to see her. Like I said, I hadn't seen her in years. I remember we never worked together, but we would both attend like SGMP, which is Society of Government Meeting Professionals, and Cal SAE, which was in Sacramento, California. So every month for years, I would see her there, right? Along with other people as well. But that's where we would talk and converse and all that kind of stuff, right? There, right? So, but outside of there, I hadn't seen her in years, right? Because I hadn't gone to SGMP and Cal SAE and forever. And then I found out that she had announced that she retired. And then just so happens, I'm walking, I don't know where I was going. I was in the terminal or next to the gate where the plane was going to take off. I just happened to be walking away, and she walked up and I said, Terry? And she looked at me, she goes, she had that look like, I know I should know him, and then she goes, Russell? That's it. She said it kind of low because she wanted to make sure it was, I said, yeah, Russell. She goes, oh my God, I ain't seen you. Yeah, typical hotel person, right? So that's how we do. And then we hug each other and, oh my God, what are you doing here? That kind of stuff. So anyway, so I just had to tell you that. Bleisure. Yeah. It's definitely a Bleisure hotel, right? When they talked about Bleisure, they're talking about this hotel because it's definitely a mixture of business and leisure. That's for people that don't know what Bleisure means. It's a makeup of people coming for business during the week. They stay a couple of days extra for leisure. Put those together and you got Bleisure, okay? A lot of people are trying to figure out how to find that Bleisure business. It's out there. You know how people say, they're saying, oh, corporate is coming back, business travel is coming back. Well, I don't think it ever really left. It was masking itself, or it was charading around as Bleisure, because we don't know what that market is, what that market really stands for, or how can you find the Bleisure business? Because remember this, and I'm going off on a tangent here, all because Sam put this up here. Okay, then don't worry, I'm gonna get back to where I was. And this thing, I'm at 25 minutes. I normally go about 30 minutes. So I got about 5 minutes, okay? So just bear with me for a second as I finish this thought because it's in my head and I can't get it out. So I have to talk about it. So, okay, so Bleisure, okay, so business has still been out there, right? It's just that I think this Bleisure thing has clouded people's judgment. So when people hear about Bleisure, like, well, does that mean business is not traveling anymore? Yeah, they're still traveling because remember this, people are working remote now. Remember, people work remote, but they will travel to a certain location for whatever reason. If that's just because they want to get out of the house or whatever, I don't know. Or maybe they have business in that particular city or destination. They come in as this corporate person or this business person, okay? And they do their work. And if they're doing their work in their room, we don't know that, right? Unless we ask that question. And then later their family joins them. Like say they come in on Monday morning. They come on Monday, okay? They go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. They're working, okay? So now they're a corporate client or their business, a BT, they're BT, okay? Well, their family joins them and they stay a couple more days. Well, that day they're leisure guests, right? They're leisure, transient, whatever heck, however, weekend business, whatever you want to do. But no one's asking that question. When they come in, we have to ask the question, and no one, meaning people at the front desk, we have to, salespeople have to train people at the front desk to identify who those people are. Because, and at the front desk, we've all worked there, at least I worked there, Sam, I know he's worked there too. Every person that comes in is assigned some type of rate code, right? A rate code, which comes to a market segment, okay? We have to ask that question. Why are you here? Well, hey, I'm here during the week for business, but then my family's gonna join me and then we're gonna be here for a couple of weekends. Boom. That tells me that they're gonna be here leisure for at least 2 days, right? So that's two different codes, or maybe one different code, which is Bleisure, which I said like 2 or 3 years ago. Now, Bleisure didn't just come because of COVID. Bleisure's came a couple of years before COVID, but no one was really able to identify what the heck that really meant, right? Somebody just said one day, business, leisure, Bleisure, you know what I mean? But how do you track it? The way you track it, you got to ask questions. So when people were saying that, oh, well, leisure's up and corporate is down, I didn't believe that because I knew for a fact that people were still traveling for work, right? But because they were working remote, we can't get a hold of those people anymore because they don't have the same phone numbers because they're not in their offices. They now rely on their cell phones, right? And sometimes they don't even have the same emails anymore. So that's why we have to start asking these questions. And we're not asking enough questions. We're not training. First of all, we have to train our front desk, okay? We're not training our front desk to ask those questions, okay? Because and a lot of things are being miscoded, okay? Now, some people will argue with me, oh, no, that's not true. Do your research. If you worked on property and you're listening to me and you're in somewhat of an authority, position or whatever, maybe a director of front office or general manager, or maybe even a director of sales and marketing, or maybe just a sales manager, whatever, not just, but maybe you're a sales manager. Ask these extra questions. When you're in those staff meetings that you never book anything out of a staff meeting anyway, you know what I mean? We spend so much time in meetings. I started asking people, check this out. And I'm going off on another tangent. I asked some of my sales people, colleagues that I used to work with or whatever, and they always say, oh, let me call you back. Or, when I'm, being a meeting planner or hotel site selection, I'm trying to get a hold of someone. They say, oh, so-and-so's in a meeting. And I always ask this question. I asked this question of their assistant. I said, how much business are they booking in that meeting? And it's between the hours of 9 and 4. What does that mean? 9 and 4, that's prime selling time. You shouldn't be in no damn meeting unless you're in a meeting with a client, okay? So that's the thing that gets me. We spend so much time in these meetings. Are they productive? Only meeting that I know that's productive is one that you're booking some business, okay? So if you're not booking any business in there, why do salespeople need to be in meetings from the hours of 9 and 4? Okay, that's prime selling time. Now, if you want to have a meeting, let's have it at 4:30, or let's have it at 8 o'clock in the morning. That's what I'm talking about. So that's where we're not we're not spending enough time trying to learn what's going on now with the business environment or the business culture because things have changed because of COVID, right? Some of these things were in place before COVID, meaning this bleisure market that people don't understand. And I just kind of broke it down and explained it to you. I've never done that before, but I broke it down. And I guarantee you, if you train your sales or if the salespeople train your front office on how to identify this, you would create this new market segment and you would code it correctly. Right now, a lot of things are being miscoded. I don't even work in a property, and I know that it's being miscoded because we don't know. We're not asking the right questions. Because I've done the same thing. It wasn't with the bleisure market. It was with a government market or an association market. When I first started in sales, and they gave me this government market that people didn't think we were getting business from. I'm like, yeah, we are. It's just not being called government. We're coding it somewhere else. No, you're not. No, you don't know what you're talking about. You just got into sales. So what I did was I had like an index card made up. It was green, government green, right? Okay. So it was made green so you can identify what it was, right? So anybody that came in that asked for a government rate, because some government rates are tax exempt or whatever, I would have them fill out a card with their name, their agency, all this kind of stuff, and they would hand it over to me. Well, that created two things, right? We had their address, and I would have a contact with that agency. Okay, so I would call them and say, hey, I understand you're XYZ government, whatever. Oh, yeah, we come to our hotel. Well, how often do you come? So that just opens up a whole new dialogue. And then that way we knew they was coded correctly because we had the card to back it up, right? So those are the things that we need to do. And that's old school stuff that I'm talking about, right? But some people don't think about that. They don't think old school. They're still thinking like this new school stuff, right? Some of this stuff we have to be old school thinking to get to the bottom of it. But some hotels don't care. They're not trying to make sure that the number of rooms match the market segments, right? Or the number of people coming in match those specific market segments. Everything is separated into a market segment. Okay. Everybody that walks in that door is assigned. Everybody that walks in the door that's a guest is assigned to a certain market segment. Even if they're price line, right? They come in, they're marked as price line. That's a price line reservation, right? Or an Expedia. That comes from Expedia. That's a third party. That's a market segment, right? But if you delve into that, say, a third party, we know they're Expedia. Let's just say Expedia. We know they're Expedia. But if you dive into deeper, you know exactly they're a corporate person, but for whatever reason, they think it's the best rate is to book through Expedia. That would eliminate so much stuff, but we're not taking the time to educate our front desk people how to ask questions. Now, there's someone out there who's going to say, well, that's going to take too much time in checking them in and this and that. Okay, take some time on the front end, and then on the back end, you ain't got to worry about it. Because on the back end, you'll know that, okay, I got X amount of business coming from here, right? X amount of government business or corporate business or whatever. Because like I said, or it's a leisure business or this combined business and leisure, Bleisure. Okay. You will know that stuff if you took time on the front end to make sure that happens. But hey, who am I? What do I know? I'm just Russell of hotels. I don't know anything that I'm talking about. You should read my book, LOL about meetings. Okay, all right, let's do it. Send it to me. Well, I can't read it unless you send it to me. But anyway, I went off on some tangents here today, and I really didn't want to, but you know how one subject leads to another subject, and I guess that's one of those things that happen today. So anyway, but as you can tell, I'm passionate about what I do. I'm passionate about what I'm saying. So I'm all about, this is things that I do, because people are like, well, he's going off on this. So who's to say he can say this stuff, or he's capable, or he's educated enough to say that? Well, okay, I got 14 hotels under my belt, right? I worked in 14 different hotels. Started off as a housekeeping manager, been a general manager, been a director of sales and marketing. And this is over 25 years, right? So I think I can say these things and know that they're factual and know that I know what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is for the people that don't know my background, right? So yeah, 25 years, damn near 30 years in this industry. Started off as housekeeping, front office, food and beverage, became an AGM, went into sales, became a director of sales and marketing, became a general manager, which I think that was the worst move of my life. But hey, I did it because I needed that experience. I did it anyway. And then came back to being director of sales and marketing because that's what I love to do. And then from there, I started on, Russell Hotels, which allowed me to assist multiple hotels in the marketing thing because I do some marketing for hotels and CVBs where, and when I mean marketing, it's more branding where, they're, I put content out for them, content that, people can see, people know that they're around because the more you put your brand out there, the more people are likely to utilize your brand. Okay. But if your brand is never out there, it's never exposed. So I'm all about exposure. Okay. I'm all about creating exposure for brands that may need a little help, right? So if that's a hotel that's underexposed, or if that's a CVB that's underexposed, and there's a lot of them out there because we're not creating an environment for these hotels where people even know that they even exist. They may know that that brand exists, but they may not know that your hotel exists. And a lot of people think because that brand is there, that the brand is taking care of that. I mean, I belong to a major brand. Now, our hotel is part of a major brand. It has an M on the building. Okay, so you have to know who we are. No, because if you have a different address, and I'll just say this real quick. Downtown Los Angeles, there are there's at least 6 Marriott brand hotels, right? And all of them are dual branded properties, meaning one building, 2 hotels in one building, okay? So that's the AC and Moxie, that's the JW and the Ritz, and that's the Courtyard and the Residence Inn, all within about 2 blocks of each other, okay? They're all different brands. They're all different brands, okay? So they should all market themselves differently because they all have different addresses, okay? They're all different brands. They all appeal to a different market segment, okay? So if you have all that component mixed together, you have to separate how you attract people to those brands. I mean, it's just it. I mean, there's no other way around that, because Residence Inn would market themselves different than the JW, right? Residence Inn is long-term stay, or even at the Courtyard, long-term stay, select service, okay, or limited service, or however you want to put it, select service, I guess. AC Hotel and Moxie. Moxie is an edgy hotel, edgy as hell, okay? The same people that stay at the Moxie probably wouldn't stay at the JW or the Courtyard because they want to party, they want to do their thing, okay? So all of them are different because they appeal to different people. That's what Marriott figured out years ago. Like, hey, we come up with all these different hotels. That's why they got over 30 brands because there's more than 30 personas out there. Okay, there's a lot more than 30 personas, but they want to be able to reach those particular people with those particular brands. Okay, long-term stay. Okay, we got this one. Okay, we got select service. Okay, we got that. We got economy. Okay, I got that one too. I want edgy, over the top. Okay, we have that too. That's why all these brands exist. People always ask, why all these brands exist, and why does Marriott have a corner on friggin' whatever Olympic and Figueroa downtown LA? Because they know they want to be a one-stop shop for everybody. Okay, they want you to go to Marriott.com and there's a brand for you, more than likely in that destination that you're going to. Okay, if you're used to staying at Residence Inn, okay, we got Residence Inn. You want to be downtown? Yeah, we're there. You want to be the JW? Okay. You want Ritz on, you hoity-toity, your stuff don't stink. You want to stay at the Ritz-Carlton? Okay, we got that too, LA Live. So that's why they do what they do, right? But a lot of people don't understand that. And, hey, I'm breaking it down today. I don't know why. I got Sam Thompson on here. Sam Thompson brings out the best and the worst in me. Okay, no, I'm joking. But anyway, I was talking about the Margaritaville. So this is a permanent theater. So it's like a theater seating. So each individual, see all the laptops in there, each individual connections and all that kind of stuff. And then this is a view from the Jimmy Buffett suite. Okay, so which was dope as heck. And you can see, if I can move, that's the lazy river on one side. It looks like a loop going like that. That's a lazy river. Then you got another pool to the left of that, or my right, and then you got another pool to the right of me, and then you got the lake in the background. So yeah, there's four pools, including that lazy river. So just a cool spot, right? You just drop the kids off. You go do your meeting across the way. The wife and the kids do their thing, right? They go to all these different bars. I mean, not the kids, but the bars have food too, right? So anyway, so that is it. I know this came a little longer than I, had anticipated, but hey, that's Russell Hotel. That's just how he gets down every now and then. But this is the daily. This is just a daily check-in. Just imagine how I am and what kind of energy I have if this was on air with Russell of Hotels. Oh my God. So anyway, if you have any questions at all about anything I talked about, anything you want to talk about, or do you want to, if your hotel wants to appear on this segment, right? So for the last 41 minutes, I've been talking about Margaritaville Lake Resort, which is in Lake Conroe, Texas, outside of Houston. So for the last 41 minutes, I've been talking about that. And I always talk about I do content creating, right? Who am I creating the content for? Well, yeah, Russell of Hotels, or this daily check-in with Russell of Hotels, but I'm also creating content for Margaritaville Lake Resort and Sam Thompson, because Sam Thompson has been on here, and I told you who Sam Thompson was, and he's been making comments. So what people don't understand is that this is creating content for anyone that comes on who's making comments. Now people are looking at Sam like, who is Samuel Thompson? They're finding out that he's with I can't think, is the marketing manager, marketing director with one of the marketing directors or planners, or let me know your title, Sam. I can't think. He's in marketing for Greater Palm Springs CVB. It's called Greater Visit Palm Springs, okay? But his area is what's the God? Hold on one second. See, getting mixed up here. I'm getting mixed up, and I want to say this right before I said it before. Indian Wells, yes. Indian Wells. Okay, so he represents Indian Wells on the marketing tip. Okay, so he's a marketing manager, marketing director, marketing extraordinaire for Indian Wells, which is part of the Greater Visit Palm Springs CVB or DMO. Okay, so it's creating content for him, creating content for Margaritaville, and it's creating content for me. Okay, so that's how it works. And any other hotel that I talked about while I was on here, it created content for them as well. So that's why it's important to do these kind of lives, to do these kind of shows, podcasts and all that. This is basically a podcast, but it's in video form, because a traditional podcast is strictly 100% audio. Okay, but because of the advent of Facebook Live and all these different streaming platforms and all that stuff, now a podcast is taking on a whole different thing, different look. So, but anyway, that is it. Once again, Russell of Hotels. I do this daily check-in Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I try to do it around noon. Sometimes I do it later than that, but I'm going to do it, right? I'm going to do it. And then on Tuesdays, every Tuesday, I do On Air with Russell of Hotels. It's that live hospitality talk show that everybody's been talking about, okay? I've done 249 shows. The next show will be 250. I have guests on. My last guest was Victor Fernandez. He's at the Golden Nugget out there in Las Vegas. And then before that, I did Trey Wilkie was on. He's a sales manager at the Bahia and Catamaran Resorts in San Diego. Okay, so those are the last two heavy hitters that I had on. So, but I have a couple of people that are, interested in coming on as well. So I'll make sure I announce those when that comes. But tomorrow I'll do another daily check-in. Okay, so until tomorrow, you guys have a great day. Thank you again for joining this daily check-in with Russell of Hotels. And as always,